Alright, this is Robert Taylor, otherwise known as Dead Rabbit on the PSN. And today we're going to cover movie reviews. Recent movie I saw was Now You See Me. You need to go see that. That movie's off the chain. Story's great, camera work's great, directing's great. He makes you feel like he's trying to trick you when he's not even tricking you watching the movie. That's, out of 10, I give that a 10. Now, let's move on to Dante's favorite movie, Fast and the Furious, the new one. What can we say about Fast and the Furious? Fast and the Furious. Basically, it's a car movie, people on steroids who are now invincible. That's all I'm gonna say. Everybody in the movie's is damn near invincible. You can cut that part out. But everybody in the movie's invincible. You got Vin Diesel and what's her name? What's the girl's name?
Lenny?
Yeah, Lenny. I love that woman.
Which her real name I think is Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Michelle Rodriguez.
She is so sexy. She's too sexy for that movie. But you got her and Vin Diesel flying off tanks. If you look at the speedometer on his car in the scene, it says they're going around 88 miles an hour. He jumps off the car across a bridge, not onto the bridge, but across from one lane of the bridge to another with a big gap, big enough for a tank to fall into, okay? So, jumps off, catches her in the air, they both land on the windshield, which cracks, doesn't break, okay? 88 miles an hour, he saves her life, and then they get up like it's okay. Nothing happened. Now, if you watch the movie, there's tons of scenes like that. You got The Rock jumping off the top of a bridge into a moving car going about 90 miles an hour. Was it a Jeep? It was a Jeep.
It was a Jeep.
At 90 miles an hour from about 40 feet in the air. That's all I'm saying. So, Dante gives it a 6. I gave it, I like the fact that they get it more towards an action movie. You know, if you're not into cars like that, like myself, you'd enjoy it more as an action movie. So I gave it more line to 7.5. I would have gave it an 8, but I went to see it with a bunch of black people, and you know how black people get. They got ADD during movies. You know, nobody can sit down and shut up. I got people behind me talking, dude answering the phone, people getting up in the middle of the movie, some dude choking out his girlfriend. I couldn't even believe that. This is what happens when you go see it in the black theaters. This is why I posted on Facebook. Only with the white people. That's it. I watch movies now exclusively with white people. I love you white people because you don't have ADD. You know how to behave yourself. You were raised properly. Now, another movie we can cover. Iron Man 3 was recently came out. If you're a comic fan, if you're a true comic fan, I don't mean somebody who just, oh, I watched the cartoon, or, you know, I watched the Avengers cartoon, or I watched the Avengers movie. No, a real comic fan. There's no way in hell, that you are going to sit there and tell me that you thoroughly enjoyed Iron Man 3. Now, I'm not saying Iron Man 3 was a bad movie. I'm not giving it a 2 or 3 or even a 4. I'm giving Iron Man 3 a 6.5. 6.5. Based on the simple fact that when Iron Man 1 and 2 came out, they were directed by Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, as we all know, is a comic nerd. I think he was born in a comic book. His dad just whacked off on a book and there he goes. That's how he was born. He did it perfectly. 1 and 2. A lot of people say, oh, it wasn't that much action in 1 and 2. 1 and 2 had plenty of action. It was just like the comic book. Iron Man doesn't have that many villains. The Iron Man comic book isn't about total action. It's about his life, how he's a screw-up, okay? The man is a drunk. He's a womanizer. That's the best part of the story. Now, what they did in Iron Man 1 and 2 is they started leaning towards the whole Pepper Potts and Tony Stark getting together, which never actually happened in the comic book. They got close, there was a little flirting, maybe some, you know, top of the shirt action, maybe first base. Never past that. In the comic book, she actually marries Agent Coulson, who we all know dies in the Avengers movie, which messed me up, because I actually like Coulson. I want to see more. But you can't keep everything strictly to the comic nature. We know this, okay? Not everything is possible in the real world that you can do in a comic book, which I feel is a cop-out, because if you have enough money to do it, you can do it. But, so you want to lean towards him and Pepper Potts getting into a relationship. My biggest fear was that in Iron Man 3, they would base the movie around their relationship, and that's not what Iron Man is about. Iron Man is about Tony Stark struggling with his own demons while overcoming those demons and showing some signs of humanity, some signs of light, that he is a decent person. Because he's not a bad dude, he's basically me if I had a whole lot of money. I would be drunk, drinking all the time, banging every chick that I find. That's all I would do. That's all you would do. Don't sit here and tell me you wouldn't, okay? Now, in Iron Man 3, my worst fear was confirmed. They pretty much based the story about their relationship, which kind of just dragged the movie down a little bit. I like that you got to see more Pepper Potts, but then they basically changed Pepper Potts in the third movie. She wasn't the same Pepper in the first and second movie. She was more, oh, I'm so in love with him, and everything is, it's me and him, it's me and him. You like to see Pepper go at Iron Man. That was Pepper's whole purpose. She was the only real woman that could challenge him. In the third movie, she doesn't even challenge him. She's like his lapdog. She's his bitch. I'm sorry. That's what. Now, what ends up happening is you get a new director in Iron Man 3. Jon Favreau did not do it, which I knew was going to be a problem. The director openly admitted that he has an obsession with the 1970s James Bond movies, which you can tell from watching the movie. If I wanted to see James Bond, I would have went to see Skyfall. Plain and simple. You got Tony Stark running around with some little handmade gadgets. Tony Stark will do that. He'll make little handmade gadgets. But he is not a martial arts expert. He is not going to take down 3 people in one room by himself. Now, the director says that his whole purpose for this was to show that Tony Stark is Iron Man without the suit. Tony Stark is Iron Man because of the suit. That is Iron Man. Iron Man is a part of him. He's not helpless out of the suit, but he needs that suit. Let's be frank. You're not gonna read too many Iron Man comics where you see Tony Stark pulling out James Bond and taking down the villain without the suit. Let's be real. It's not gonna happen. All right. So now in the movie you have him and War Machine, aka Iron Patriot, which was a nice little Easter egg touch in there. They do that in there. But you have them losing their suits the whole movie. How many times you gonna lose your suit? You're supposed to be a superhero, but you keep losing your suit? That doesn't happen. That's not right. So basically, what the director did was use that as a way, as basically filler, if you want to call it. That's what I call it, filler. It's a reason to say, oh, here's why he's out of the suit, because he keeps losing it. And then what he does is he basically throws every Iron Man suit at you, which was nice. That was nice, I'm not gonna lie. You got to see the Hulkbuster in there, but for some reason there was 2 Hulkbuster suits if you really pay attention. There was the orange and yellow one, it was the orange and red one, and then you have the black and gray one. It was kind of weird, but it was nice to see. So what he does towards the end of the movie is he throws all these suits at you, basically confuse you with action, okay, at the last part. So now you're sitting there going, oh wow, this movie's great because of all these suits. If you take all of that scene with all those suits out of the movie, you pretty much have a boring movie. You have a pointless character in there who, this kid, the mechanic. I was hoping that they said, hey, maybe this kid is Ant-Man, you know? He's gonna be Giant Man. He's just really young. No. Who was the kid? The kid was nobody. It was a nice comedic scene between them a couple of times, but other than that, relatively pointless. Then you take Iron Man's main villain, Mandarin. He doesn't have that many villains. Look at my eyes. He doesn't have that many villains, okay? So you take his main villain, and then you spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, by the way. If you ain't seen it, kill yourself. But you take his main villain, and then towards the middle of the movie, after all this build-up, yeah, we're gonna get to see this big fight. You take the greatest actor on the planet, Ben Kingsley. The man played Gandhi. He played Gandhi. And then you say he's not real. The Mandarin isn't even real. So not only do they tease you with the Mandarin character, they tease you with the fact that they put Ben Kingsley in it, one of the greatest actors of our time, the man who played Gandhi. And then they pretty much just slap you in the face and say you're not going to get anything you want at all. Oh yeah, we're going to show you he has the 10 rings of power on as well, but you're never going to see that happen. Now, a smart director or a screenwriter, I'm not going to just blame the director, you have to blame the screenwriter as well. You're setting this up for for Avengers 2. Thanos was revealed at the end of the first Avengers. So we're hoping that it will be the Infinity Gauntlet, right? You want to explain Mandarin's rings? The rings of power are actually alien artifacts, if you read the comics, okay? They're alien technology. Each ring controls a different power. One has fire, I think one was like levitation. Why not just have him get the rings from him? This way you tie in both movies, you still keep his villain. I mean, Mandarin was perfect up until the reveal that he wasn't even real. So, Iron Man 3, highly disappointing. Not unwatchable, it's definitely watchable. Take out the Mandarin as the main villain, make him not real, and give us this substitute villain who looks like a buff Justin Hammer from the second movie. Pay attention now. Go back and watch. I just think it doesn't work. It's just dry jokes the whole movie. Every joke was pretty much dry, except the jokes between Tony Stark and that kid. It was very disappointing. So 7.5 for Iron Man 3.